What is going on, Governor? It's Chisgule here, and today we're going to bring you the very best rally captain builds and defense captain builds in the game. If you like Rise of Kingdoms videos where we bring you sweet builds to play with, you should definitely like and subscribe because that's a thing we're pretty passionate about, and we are a sponsored creator with Rise of Kingdoms. Okay, my friends, if you didn't see my last video, you should watch it about the best rally captain combos and defense captain combos. There's a couple builds that I've settled on that I think are really quite exceptional, and we're going to share them with you now. First build that we want to show is defense. If you are captaining a flag using Richard and Charles, then I would recommend the following talents. Here we go. Now, there's going to be some modifications to this you might want to make if you think you can get full infantry in the flag. I'm making an assumption here. My assumption is that you will not get full infantry and someone's going to mess things up so that points put into hold the line are basically wasted. Let me talk about why I did what I did here. Because I figure you're not going to be able to really probably get full infantry in the flag. You get a lot of infantry in the flag. I wanted to focus the talents into the defense tree to pick up all the goodies that are there, including loose formation, which reduces skill damage taken by a solid 9%, including balance in case there is some amount of swarming, which is unlikely, but either way, it's a solid damage reduction, and making our way over to medicinal supplies for extra healing, testudo formation for some amount of additional tankiness, and desperate elegy in the situation where the fight runs long enough that you actually break below that 30% strength mark and get a huge boost in rage generation. The reason I really like these talents is that any further in this branch of the infantry is a bunch of march speed, which is wasted. And this over here, the chance to slow the target, who cares about slows? Slows do not matter at all in a flag defense. The only thing that's really sort of questionable is hold the line, and if you thought you could get full infantry, 100% compliance with that infantry, you could drop Desperate Elegy, pick up hold the line, and I actually think that would be a better choice. This, my friends, is the flag build that we used throughout KVK. Strong build, in my opinion. Now, those March Speed talents do have some amount of relevance when you're getting to a flag, jumping city to city, flag to flag, to get to the place that you want to defend, but they don't help you after you got there. So that is why we chose those talents. P.S. I'm sure you already knew this, but garrison talents do not work in flags, fortresses, or passes. Not to my knowledge, they only work in cities. So this entire tree off limits. Don't put any points in it. That's ultimately going to be a waste of points. Next up is if you're rocking Yi Song Ye or El Cid as the primary, I would recommend the following build. This build hones in on skill, damage, and rage generation. We don't really care if folks bring all archers, although optimally they will. If they don't, it's not the end of the world. Let's talk about why we went this route. We are really deep into the skill tree, grabbing Rejuvenate and Feral Nature for the Rage Restoration, which pairs nicely with the Rage Engine brought forward by Art of Archery, which also generates extra Rage. Cruising back into the talents on Yi Song Ye, we also went over and picked up Razor Sharp once again for extra Rage generation. We then made our way over to Venomous Sting, which doesn't care about whether or not you have archers. It increases the active skill damage of the primary and secondary commanders by a cool 8%. From there, we picked up Rapid Fire, which doesn't care about the troop type, and Arrows Nocked does also not care about the troop type. This is a build that I think is good for rallying flags. I think it's good for defending flags. It's good for both of those activities because it doesn't really care about what type of troop you've got there. Now, if you did want to hone in on having full archers, and you could guarantee that you were going to have full archers as the reinforcements for the rally, then I would drop Feral Nature, I would drop Clarity, and I would make my way over to Phoenix Tail Arrows, and also I would pick up Whistling Arrows. That would get you more damage overall if you can get that 100% compliance with all archer units. The second that's not true, you're losing value so fiercely. I don't know. I went the route of saying, I don't think we can actually make that happen, and used this build. Now, the next build I want to show you is Hannibal Barca. You have seen this build in my Hannibal Barca detailed video commander guide, but to check it out again, this is the Barca Rally Leader build. In my opinion, the best build for the job. There's a number of things that we pick up here that I think are very noteworthy. First of all, Burning Blood for extra rage generation, Lord of War for a huge amount of stat gain. You have 6 stars on this commander, and you get 1.5% of stats for each, or I guess it's attack for each star you had. That is awesome. Super awesome. 9% of attack for 3 talent points. Amazing. Head over to Effortless. Get a huge amount of extra damage. Huge amount of extra damage. Did they buff that? Increase all damage dealt by 2.5% every 10 seconds for a maximum of 10%? No, they didn't buff it. I don't think they did anyways. Still a maximum of 10%. We then make our way over to Armored Joints for damage reduction of 1.5%. Noteworthy that we did not pick up Fight to the Death because although this increases our damage out, there's a very high chance the rally is going to get swarmed, and if it does, you really don't want to be taking extra damage because you're going to be taking extra skill damage but probably not dishing it out to those targets. Similarly, we don't want Martial Mastery because we're losing active skill damage in favor of getting normal attack damage, and all the pairings we came up with involve huge amounts of skill damage. We maxed out the leadership tree, grabbing Armed to the Teeth and Armored to the Teeth, in addition to Name of the King for maximum value in rallies. Overall, we've been very happy with this build, and I would recommend it 10 out of 10. The final build that we're going to get a look at is if you're rocking Cavalry. And, you know, in my perfect world, it really needs to be Genghis Khan as the primary. And you would rock full skill tree with extra points going into the Cavalry tree as shown here. You don't quite have enough to get Max Emblazoned Shield, but the reason that you want to go full skill tree, heading all the way up to Clarity and Feral Nature, is that, my goodness, is the rage engine on this commander absolutely busted. And what I'll point out is that Rallying Cry is good for the first 10 seconds of battle, but guess what? That battle's going to last so much longer than 10 seconds, that is really kind of irrelevant. So Max Cav Tree, in my opinion, is not amazing. Although I do really like Disarm, we just don't have the points to get Disarm and Emblazoned Shield and also Feral Nature. So again, I would make your way over to Feral Nature, max that out, then make your way over to the Rage Generation from Undying Fury, then drop some points into Emblazoned Shield. You could only do 3 points, I believe, but that is still really quite strong. So, my friends, these are the builds that I would recommend for the commander pairings that I showed in my previous video. I'm curious to hear, what are you using? And importantly, are you using Mehmed II as a primary? If you are, what build are you rocking on him? I have to believe it would be in the realm of Name of the King with Armored to the Teeth and Armed to the Teeth, swinging by Rejuvenate for the extra rage generation, with overflow points, of course, going into Heraldic Shield and Tactical Mastery. But I'd be curious to hear what you found to be most effective. This is not a commander we actually used, so I can't advise to the build in this capacity, although I'm 99% sure we're on the right track with what I just shared. If you found this video helpful, you should definitely like and subscribe. And until next time, you have fun smashing the kingdom.